Hi, good morning children. Welcome to Gurukul Vidyalaya online classes. Today for the 7th class science subject, we are going to discuss about the topic, the chapter heat. So already we have completed one video for this chapter heat. In that video, we have learned about what is temperature, how can we measure the temperature. By using thermometer we can measure the types of thermometers, for example clinical thermometer and maximum minimum thermometer. About those things we have discussed in the previous class. So children, now today in this class we are going to discuss about the another type of thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. This is laboratory thermometer. So to understand this one, just what we have discussed in the about clinical thermometer, that we have to recall now. So already we know how to measure the temperature by using the clinical thermometer. So in the same way, we can also check the marks given in the laboratory thermometer. So this laboratory thermometer will be in a straight long glass tube that you can observe in your textbook, figure 4.5. So there one thermometer we are seeing now. 4.4 we can observe the laboratory thermometer. So for this also, at the end of the thermometer one bulb we will observe. Some in that bulb mercury also will be filled, and the readings, the marks also will be given on the thermometer. So the divisions will be taking place there. So we can check the division, how many divisions are there. So here the range of the laboratory thermometer is minus 10 degrees to 110 degrees Celsius. Minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So how to measure by using this thermometer, laboratory thermometer. So to understand that, one activity we can discuss here, by filling a water in a beaker or a mug. By taking the mug or beaker, and we have to fill some water in that, dip the thermometer in that, and under the thermometer, if you heat the under the beaker, if you put any burner, just the water will be heated up, and to check the level of the thermometer we can understand it. So whenever we put the we dip the thermometer, laboratory thermometer in the beaker which is filled with a water, just the hotness of the water we can check there by measuring the thermometer. Slowly the mercury level will rise up, it will be raised up, and at a certain temperature it will stop. So then by removing the thermometer from the beaker, we can check the reading, the level of the mercury in the thermometer. So by that we can get the certain temperature of the given water, the taken water what we have taken in that beaker. Okay children, so for this some precautions also we have to take. What are the precautions? See here one table was given. In addition to the precautions needed while reading a clinical thermometer, the laboratory thermometer. So how we are reading the clinical thermometer to check the reading. So in the same way we will also check here, but it should be kept upright, not tilted. So whenever we are taking the laboratory thermometer, just by holding that one upright, tilt, that means we should not move like this. We should not tilt the thermometer. If you are keeping vertically in the beaker, just we have to remove outside by checking the level, the reading of the thermometer. By that we can get the temperature. And whenever we are doing this type of activity, the laboratory thermometer's bulb should not be touched to the bottom of the beaker. So we should not touch the thermometer's bulb to the beaker bottom of the beaker. So if we keep like that, the surface should not touch it. The surface of the container should not touch to the bulb of the thermometer. So like that, by using one stand or clamp, we have to fix that one like that. So by that we can understand the temperature, the reading of the liquid or the substance what we are taking and what we are going to measure, we can measure by using that one. So now suppose here another 4.5 activity we can understand. There we just we have to note down the reading of the hot water, how much level it mercury level begins to fall. So after checking the reading, slowly if the water or the substance, if it is the heat is going outside, that means if the water is becoming cool, then the mercury level will be getting down. So the that will be getting down, the reading will be falls down. Can you then use the laboratory thermometer to measure our body temperature? So we may got this type of question. So the both will be same, no? Can we use the laboratory thermometer to check how we will keep that much long thermometer can we use? So but here it is not converted to you convenient. It is not convenient to use the laboratory thermometer for this purpose. To check our body temperature, laboratory thermometer is not suitable. It is not convenient to use. So that's why we won't use the laboratory thermometer for checking our body temperature. So why does the mercury not fall or rise in a clinical thermometer when taken out of the mouth? So clinical thermometer in the previous video we discussed, you know, that we'll put under the tongue, the clinical thermometer. So after taking outside, immediately it won't rise or it won't get down the mercury level. Why? What is the reason? That also we have discussed today. So just in the thermometer, one kink. What is this? One kink we will observe it. Mercury level. So what is happening there? This kink will not allow the mercury to get down or to rise up. So that is the reason why the mercury will not fall down or it will not rise. The level will not rise. So this is the reason. But in the laboratory thermometer, can we observe this type of kink? No. This will not be there in the laboratory thermometer. So whenever we are immediately we have to check we have to read the level of the mercury at what it is stopping. So that is the precaution we have to take for this laboratory thermometer. So children, did you understood how to use the clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, and another type of maximum minimum thermometer? It is used for the weather report. To check the weather report, we will use that thermometer. So now the next topic is transfer of heat. Transfer of heat. What is meant by this transfer of heat? We know everything about this one. Just if you put a bowl on the stove by pouring some water in that, after some time, will the water will be hot water? Yes. The cool water if you pour into the beaker and put on the stove, after some time if you check by putting our hand, or we can understand that the water will be hot. It is a hot substance. So what is happening there? The transfer of heat takes place. So how to understand that the transfer of heat takes place? Or another example we can discuss. Just one frying pan if you put on the stove. After using the frying pan, after use, if you touch the handle of the frying pan, can we observe some hotness of that handle? Yes, obviously we can say the pan will be heated up. Slowly the heat will be transferred to the near to the handle. When you touch the handle also will be hot. So by that we can understand the heat is transferring there. So what we call this one? What we call this process? So this process is called as conduction. What is that? Conduction. So before understanding this process, what is conduction, how it takes place, to understand that one, just we can discuss one activity. In 4.6 activity we will observe that in the figure we can check there, two bricks are there. Between the two bricks are placed on the table. Between two bricks, one metallic or iron or aluminum strip is fixed to that. It is clamped between the two bricks. So it will be standing like that. So what we have to do? One end is fixed between the bricks, another end of the metallic scale or any metallic strip is free. Nothing is there. It is in the air like that. So here the clamp is fixed. So this is the metal strip. Let us think, or we can observe here. So if it is a rod or a metallic strip, so here it is clamped between the bricks. If you take two bricks, between that if it is clamped like that. So now what to do? Wax pieces will be there, no? Wax. So just the wax pieces will be attached here, here and here. So to the metal strip, if you attach like this, so one end will be free like that. So what to do? One candle is kept near to the that another end. One candle. So what is happening here? Whenever put one candle is placed at the other end of the metal strip, slowly the metal will be heated up. So when it is heating, what will happen? What will happen? Suppose if you take one rod, iron rod, in the flame, if you put by holding with one end with your hand, another end will be kept into the flame. After some time, what we will observe? We will get the burning sensation. No? Our hand will feel that the rod is hot. So still we kept like that, what will happen? We may get hurt. So our hand will be burned there. So like that, when it is heating up, slowly the heat will transfer to the other end of the metal strip. So how to understand that one? When it is heating up, what will happen to the wax pieces? It will fall down like this on the floor. It will fall on the floor like this. This also will fall down. So wax, it will melt now. That wax piece, if you attach to the metal strip, it will melt and it will fall down on the floor. So slowly, one after one, it is falling down. It is also falling down. So then what we are observing, the heat is transferring from one end of the metal strip to the other end of the metallic strip. So this process is called as conduction. It is called as conduction. This process is called as conduction. So the process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end. The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end. So that is known as conduction. So generally in the solids we will observe this type of process. The conduction takes place in the process of solids, in the substances. Solid substances, we can understand the heat is transferred by this process. So that process is called as conduction. So to understand this, we can do another activity by taking one glass beaker filled with hot water. So just different type of particles if you place into the beaker. For example, one pen, one pencil, eraser, sharpener, one scale. So different type of objects was placed into the beaker and it is filled with a hot water. So after some time, if you touch those articles by taking outside, would we feel that objects will be hot? Yes, the objects will be hot. Why? Because the heat is transferred from the hot water to the objects, to the pen or pencil or scale, like that it is transferring. So by this we can understand heat transfer of heat takes place. Okay children, in your textbook table 4.3 also we can observe their material with which the article is made of. First column is article, second column material with which the article is made of. Does the other end get hot, yes or no? So this column is there, the table is there. Already given here, one steel spoon if you keep into the beaker filled with the hot water. So what is the material of that article? It is a metal. So that's why we wrote here metal is printed. Next column, does the other end get hot? Yes or no? If you say yes or no, yes, it is getting hot. Why? Because it is a metal. The material is a metal. Suppose if you take another wood, wooden piece, if you wooden block, small block, if you place into the beaker. The article is suppose duster, if you take wooden duster. Next, the material is wood. Does the other end is hot or not? Yes or no means no, we will say. Why? Because it won't get that much heat. So here what we are understanding, some materials will be absorbing the heat and some materials will not absorb the heat. So what is the difference here? So the materials which allow heat to pass through them, listen carefully, the materials which allow the heat to pass through them are called as conductors. The materials through which the heat can be passed easily is called as conductors. So for some examples, aluminium, iron, copper, some metals, all these are conductors. So what we call them? Those are conductors of heat. There is a property, conductivity of heat for the metals. So that's what we are observing here. So do you understand what is meant by conductors? The process by which the heat transfers from hotter end to the colder end, that is called as conduction. The process is called as conduction. And the material which allow the heat to pass through them, those are called as conductors. Then what about the materials which do not allow the heat to pass through them? The materials which do not allow the heat to pass through them, those are called as non-conductors, or another name is insulators. So just now we discussed about conductors, and the next one is insulators. So what are the examples for the insulators? Wood and plastic. Wood and plastic. So these are the poor conductors. So we call them as poor conductors. The poor conductors are generally called as insulators. So you can understand, if handle of the cooking pan, if you observe that one, the handle will not be the metal thing. One plastic coating will be there to the handle. So what is happening there? Just will get some warm, but it is not a good conductor. If it is a good conductor, what will happen? When we touch that, immediately our hand will be get burned. So will be get hot. So that's why the plastic and wood, these are the generally these are the substances used for utensils, handles, cooking pan, those handles will use this one. So why? Because those are the insulators. So do you understand, children? In this class, just we have discussed about the laboratory thermometer. What is the range? The range of the laboratory thermometer is -10 degrees to 110 degrees. What is the difference for the rising and falling of the mercury level in the thermometer of clinical and laboratory? The difference also we understood. So in the clinical thermometer, just one kink will be there. Due to that, the mercury level will not fall immediately and it will not rise in the clinical thermometer. But in the laboratory thermometer, we won't observe this type of kink. So that's why immediately the mercury level will be rise or fall down in the laboratory thermometer. So that is the difference what we have discussed in this video. And another thing, transfer of heat. What is the meant by transfer of heat? What is that process called? It is called as conduction. That what we discussed here. And the material which allow the heat to pass through them, those are called as conductors. And some examples also we discussed about that. And the materials which will not allow the heat to pass through them, those are called as insulators. And plastic and wood are the examples for that insulators. So this is the topic what we have discussed in this class. So children, in your textbook, take that lesson chapter heat and read the textbook thoroughly what we have discussed in the class, and complete the work given by the given through that WhatsApp group. Okay children, thank you for watching this one.